So good afternoon all. So we are continuing with glycolysis. In the previous class we have discussed about the preparatory phase of glycolysis. Then we have started with payoff phase. That means first of all we can briefly describe the steps. First of all, glucose can be converted to glucose 6-phosphate, and then this glucose 6-phosphate conversion by hexokinase enzyme, glucose 6-phosphate then converted to fructose 6-phosphate by enzyme isomerase, fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-phosphate, 1,6-bisphosphate, that is with the help of enzyme phosphofructokinase. Then fructose 1,6-bisphosphate can be converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Later this dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So that is up to the preparatory phase. In the payoff phase, the second half of the glycolysis, it is known as payoff phase, and it is characterized by net gain of energy rich molecules. So in the preparatory phase it is loss or ATP is consumed, but in payoff phase ATP is produced, that is net gain of energy rich molecule ATP and NADH occurs. Since this glucose leads to 2-triose sugars, so 2-triose sugars are formed in the preparatory phase, that means glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Each reaction in the payoff phase occurs twice per glucose molecule. So the reaction of the payoff phase which may occur 2 times in a glucose molecule. So this may yield 2 NADH and 4 ATP. One glucose molecule, from one glucose molecule to ATP. So if this payoff phase occur 2 times, then 4 ATP molecules, because in one time, in one phase of this, in the payoff phase, if it is occurring one time, then 2 ATP molecule. But it is occurring twice per glucose molecule. So there will be 4 ATP molecules and 2 NADH, leading to net gain of 2 NADH. So the gain molecule is 2 NADH and 2 ATP. Why we are calling net gain? Because already 2 ATP molecules are lost in preparatory phase, and here we are gaining 4 ATP molecule. So instead of that, from this 4 ATP molecules, 2 ATP molecules we have already what we have met, those we have lost we have received from the preparatory phase. Then finally 2 ATP molecules are received in this payoff phase. So the net gain is 2 NADH and 2 ATP molecule from the glycolytic pathway in each glucose molecule. So next is the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate step. This glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is in the short form GADP, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. It is an oxidoreductase enzyme which converts glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, that is 1,3-BPG, in which the aldehyde group of triose sugars, which means glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate aldehyde group present in the glyceraldehyde, these are oxidized and the inorganic phosphate is added to them, that is dehydrogenase. Inorganic phosphate is added to them and it forms 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, that is as a result of this addition of inorganic phosphate, that means bisphosphor, that is 2-phosphor. Then the hydrogen is used to reduce 2 molecules of NAD+. So here NAD+ molecules are present. So the hydrogen is used here to, in the case of the enzyme, this hydrogen is present. This hydrogen is used to reduce 2 molecules of NAD+. and finally a hydrogen carrier which may give rise to NaDH plus H plus for each triose. So each triose may require NaDH plus H plus and another, that is 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is obtained. The hydrogen atom balance and the charge balance are both maintained because this hydrogen atom balance and this charge balance are both of them are maintained because phosphate group actually exists in the form of hydrogen phosphate ion, that is HPO4 2-, which dissociates and it may contribute to the extra H plus ion and the net charge of -3 on both sides. So this hydrogen atom balance and charge balance occur. They are both maintained. Then here arsenate, that is AsO4 3-, it is an anion which alkaline to inorganic phosphate may replace phosphate as a substrate, and it is capable of replacing the phosphate and it to form 1-arseno-3-phosphoglycerate. This however is unstable, and this molecule is unstable and it may readily hydrolyze to form 3-phosphoglycerate. That is the intermediate in the next step of the pathway. So what happens is that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate can be converted to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, and this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate converted to 3-phosphoglycerate. It is an unstable compound, an intermediate in the next step. As a consequence of bypassing this step, the molecule of ATP is generated from 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. So here the ATP generation occurs in 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate reaction. That is how this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate formed from glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and will not be made, and this ATP generated from 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate in the next reaction will not be made even though the reaction proceeds. So as a result, this arsenate is an uncoupler of glycolysis. Next is 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, and in the presence of the enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase. It is a type of transferase. It may convert 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to 3-phosphoglycerate, and this step is an enzymatic transfer of a phosphate group from 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to ADP. So it is transferred to this ADP phosphate group, and it may result in the formation of ATP with the help of the enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase, and ATP is formed along with 3-phosphoglycerate. At this step, glycolysis has reached the break-even point. That means 2 molecules of ATP is consumed and 2 molecules have now been synthesized. So 2 molecules consumed are now regained and 2 molecules are now being synthesized. This step one of the 2 substrate level phosphorylation steps. So what do you mean by substrate level phosphorylation? Synthesis of this ATP through the substrate. One of the 2 substrate level phosphorylation steps require ADP. So this substrate level phosphorylation requires ADP. Then only this ATP is formed. Thus, when the cell has plenty of ATP, this reaction doesn't occur. If the cell has less or scanty of ATP and only ADP is present, then only substrate level phosphorylation occurs for the synthesis of ATP. If the cell has excess ATP, no substrate level phosphorylation occurs because ATP decays relatively quickly when it is not metabolized. If it is not metabolized or utilized, then it may quickly decay. This is an important regulatory point in glycolytic pathway. ADP actually exists in ADP Mg- and ATP as ATP Mg2-, and those are balancing the charges at -5 both sides. Next is 3-phosphoglycerate can be converted to 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of the enzyme phosphoglycerate mutase. It is a mutase enzyme. So you should remember these steps, that is important. And this phosphoglycerate mutase isomerizes this 3-phosphoglycerate into 2-phosphoglycerate, that is 3PG to 2PG. Next step is with the help of the enzyme enolase, that is 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of enzyme enolase converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. So this enolase next convert 2-phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate. This reaction is an elimination reaction involving EICB mechanism. And the cofactors required are 2 Mg2 plus 1 conformational ion to coordinate with the carboxylate group of the substrate and 1 catalytic ion that participates in the dehydration. Here the dehydration reaction occurs for the formation of phosphoenol pyruvate. So this phosphoenol pyruvate next is converted to pyruvate with the help of the enzyme pyruvate kinase, a transferase. So the final substrate level, again the substrate level phosphorylation, that means synthesis of ATP, now forms a molecule of pyruvate plus a molecule of ATP by means of the enzyme pyruvate kinase. This serves as an additional regulatory step similar to phosphoglycerate kinase. So this is an additional regulatory step, addition to phosphoglycerate kinase, which convert fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Now next is the biochemical logic of this glycolysis. The existence of more than one point of regulation indicates that intermediates between those points enter and leave the glycolysis pathway by other processes. For example, in the first regulated step, hexokinase converts glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. Instead of continuing through the glycolysis pathway, this intermediate can be converted to glucose storage molecules such as glycogen or starch. So instead of continuing through the glycolytic pathway, certain intermediate can be converted to glucose storage molecules such as glycogen or starch. The reverse reaction breaking down, example glycogen, that is the reverse also occurs, that is glycogen produces many glucose 6-phosphate molecules. A very little free glucose is formed in this reaction. The glucose 6-phosphate though so produced, they also can enter the glycolysis and proceed after the first control point. In the second regulated step, the third step of glycolysis, that is phosphofructokinase converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. So this the phosphofructokinase enzyme converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which is then converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. That is the second regulation step. Then the dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be removed from the glycolysis by conversion to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and which can be used to form triglycerides. So they can be utilized for the formation of triglycerides. Conversely, these triglycerides can be broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. The latter in turn can be converted to dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which can enter the later means what? The triglycerides can be broken onto fatty acids and glycerol, and this can be again converted to dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and again it can enter the glycolysis after the second control point. Next is post-glycolysis process.